easily get there before 8.
Hello viewers, and welcome to the nighttime version of Cannonball Memorial Run. We are at a closed down gas station somewhere in South Carolina, having just been pulled over by one of South Carolina's finest. And how fast were we going?
A measly 100.
A measly 100.
At least that's what his radar said.
Well, we spent some time with OnStar earlier today to make sure that our speedometer was accurate. And
we heard that.
Yes, and it was.
We were live at the same time as you were.
Hey everybody, excellent. So we just got pulled over by a very fine officer in Frank Underwood Nation, and everything was okay. So we are now headed to find some gasoline, because even though these things will average 17 miles per gallon in the best of circumstances, at 110 miles an hour it's 12. Oh, welcome. We have a very bad connection, it says.
You whore, get in the car.
Oh, easy, easy, Alex.
Where's Hendrix? Hey, you want the lens?
Yeah, I think I do. How does it work? Which
slides
one?
on. Yeah,
This
you know.
one?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody ready? Ready to go.
It's not working.
Did we get gas?
No.
How did
What the hell was this?
It didn't really
Stop
change
for
it.
Pumps are closed.
Yeah, well, yeah, it changed. Totally changed.
Stop went down now.
Just make it better.
Yeah. But now you can't see anything.
All right, it's now I can't see anything. Hello.
What could go wrong? So we need the next station. Is that right?
Yeah, we're not going to this one. I guess this one's closed too. Hello, everyone. We have a very bad connection in South Carolina, and so we are on the Cannonball Memorial Run, and we are looking for some gasoline. Having just been pulled over at 100 miles per hour, we've again emerged unscathed. In fact, even though we failed to yield for a good while, partially because it was on a bridge. I think it's closed. Yeah, that one's closed. We are hopping back on 95 north. Plenty. Tons, yeah. Absolutely.
Stay to the right
to the right.
95 north.
So I was going 100. The car behind us was going 98 in these 2017 Chevrolet Suburbans with their OnStar verified speedometer capabilities.
I thought you were going faster.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. You were booking.
We had been going faster, but we saw the cop on Waze, so I had canceled the cruise control.
What's that sound?
I'm not buckled.
That's his little ass tattletale.
All right. So sorry you didn't get to see that. It kind of came up all of a sudden. But Alex and I have had some charming discussion as the boys in blue in the back have been asleep.
You know, the boys in blue in the back are good men. But these good men have been trying to drive a wedge between Ed and I. And it looks like we've got a lot more in common than I ever knew.
Rocky Mount, Nashville.
That's right.
Watch out.
So we're back on the road, and Alex is now at the wheel. I've driven the last 300 miles in probably about 3 hours.
It was very impressive.
Thank you.
I have much more respect for you. What's this?
Not a cop. Not a cop.
It looks like a... What was that car we saw? The GTO?
A Cavalier. All right, we're 11 miles from Manning, South Carolina. So a few more miles from Florence. Do we have any countermeasures? No. Only each other, enraptured in very different conversation. So we're running pretty blind out here, but we got a few badges and a whole bunch of guns that say otherwise.
What's that up there? All right.
I don't know. A truck. That's right. We've only got each other, viewers. All right. Let us. How far do we have left? We're 294 miles from our Wilmington, North Carolina. Where are we going? Windsor, North Carolina.
Yeah, and we are 45 minutes ahead of schedule.
We've made good time. We've shaved off an entire very inefficient fuel stop, and most of this driving was done in torrential rain. So, a good chunk of it. But we're doing well.
What rain mitigation product would you endorse, Edward?
We have been very pleased with the gas station sold Rain-X package. Don't we find the GPS voice annoying? Yes, we do find it annoying. But every time I hear that there's some new Waze voice that we can turn on, I like Samuel L. Jackson to tell you Waze, I always forget to download it.
Do you get the sense that the officers that we're riding with like us to have the nighttime shift? Not because they didn't like driving at night, but because they know that we'll drive fast for them. They will.
The third car of police officers is a van, a 2017 Toyota Sienna with duct tape all over the front of it at the moment. Is nowhere to be found. Gerry, can you check on the location of the van?
Trying, I just sent a message that we'd gotten back on the road, given them our mile marker, waiting for it.
I don't remember passing them.
No.
And I feel like they would have let us know.
Yes.
Because they wouldn't have not noticed.
True.
Do a burnout. Not an option at the moment. Yep, just 100 on that pullover. But a personal best for this trip on the encounter with law enforcement. How do you feel about the 360, the Max 360 versus the V1 nowadays?
For me or you?
I'll start. I've always been a V1 lover, and I've had many of them. But I did a trip with the Max 360 last year, and really liked it a lot. It's terrific.
Did you use Escort Live?
No, I don't think we had it on.
Really?
It was Arnie's in the Bluesmobile, so I don't.
So did you use the Escort Max 360 and Waze, or just the Max 360?
And Waze.
Okay, that really is the ideal combination.
Not with Escort Live?
Well, I use Escort Live. Have you even played with it?
No.
So Escort Live is kind of like Waze, but limited towards Escort users.
Right.
And they don't have a critical mass the way Waze does of users anywhere. Although in SoCal it's pretty good. I kind of like Escort Live, but I would want to have Waze and Escort Live through the same interface is what I want.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you talk to the Vortex guy about something like that?
Yeah, that somebody was trying to overlay Waze info, which I think can be open source somehow.
Yeah, there's
Good day from Tasmania, Cannonball Memorial Run. Hello, Tasmania. Much more reasonable.
Tasmania is a lot of fine place to drive.
Oh, yeah. And they have a Targa.
And they're way, way, way behind.
Uh-oh.
We may miss the next stop.
The Sienna minivan is way behind. When you say way behind, when we're at mile marker 116, where are they?
He's typing.
He's
That
typing.
information.
Why are they so far behind?
These,
Are they just not driving fast? They don't like driving fast?
I don't think the vehicle.
they said the van doesn't
sustaining.
doesn't go very fast. How many times did you run the Cannonball before setting the record? 0. I did one New York to LA rally a few years prior, but that was our first attempt. I didn't expect to break it on our first try. Alex, it was really your third?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had done
Why don't you tell them what you said to me an hour ago about how helpful it was to have that crazy bald asshole go before you did and basically tell you how to do it?
We tried, viewers, to have a live video about 2 hours ago, and it would have been the best, most candid Cannonball discussion that's ever happened. But the reception was terrible. It's not that much better right now, but we appreciate that you're bearing with us, and we apologize for the darkness. But Alex told me about how scary it was, and I have to agree. And when I talked to Brock Yates as a high school student, that was his sentiment, that he didn't even really know what would be possible now. He just assumed, based on the number of police and the fact that no one had improved upon the record in his mind since 2000 or since 1979, that it couldn't be done any faster. And so, being faced with that reality, I can imagine that that it was just terrifying to set out without any modern precedent to go on. we had that benefit.
When I started, I literally had a full head of hair. It was incredible. I was incredibly handsome. People couldn't contain themselves in my presence.
For reasons other than your charming personality.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Exactly.
Or the fact that I haven't showered since Wednesday morning, when Gerry, whom I didn't know until asked me not to before Wednesday's night's events. So let's move on.
That's right. And if you're watching this on YouTube live Smell-O-Vision, we apologize.
So we should probably stop at a gas station.
Yes, the next stop is a gas station because they want gas behind us. We've been averaging about 17 miles per gallon in this Chevrolet Suburban, going pretty fast most of the time on this drive, but for the last 300 miles I've averaged 12.
You know, it almost seems like all pretense of your good behavior have just fallen away.
And ironic it would happen as I come into your presence for the first time in an automobile.
It is amazing how the lowest common denominator morality just becomes normal du jour.
How bad is the picture quality and audio, viewers? We can't really tell from here. It just tells us we have a poor connection.
Does anyone know exactly what conversation unfolded between the police officer and the gentleman in Cannonball Memorial Van 2?
Sorry, what?
What happened when the officer walked up and talked to our friends in the other truck?
So we're in the black Suburban, and there's a white Suburban behind us, and we were traveling 100 miles per hour in the last pullover, and they were 98 miles an hour according to what I could hear in the background, and we both pulled over eventually. Honestly, it took us a while to pull over because we went all the way across a bridge where there really wasn't a shoulder, but then we did pull over.
Also, they were behind us for like a minute with the lights, and we were doing nothing to
Really?
indicate our awareness of their presence.
We have very poor rearward visibility and very low sensitivity to the risk of being stopped by police right now. So we're chugging right along and end up having to be chased by a police officer for a good little while. But they got him laughing, and the officer never even came to our window. He just got back in his car, turned off the lights, threw it into gear, and sped off as fast as I've ever seen a police officer just depart from a roadside situation, to which we immediately took chase, and he only went another exit before pulling off.
I have a question for Jason or John of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. Having observed Ed Bullian's driving and my own, how do you feel about the driving you have observed? I mean, do you feel comfortable and safe? Have you learned anything? Do you have any criticisms?
I was asleep.
So as we were barreling through South Georgia, North Florida, and most of South Carolina, all the police officers that we're wheel manning around here were beautifully asleep. How's that Ambien treating you, Jason?
Unaware.
Oh, that was great.
Excellent.
Unaware of what was happening just feet away.
As the road flew beneath them. So if you're just joining us, we are on the Cannonball Memorial Run. There was a question earlier, what is a Cannonball Run? And a Cannonball Run is sort of a colloquial term adapted from the Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash, an actual event held racing across the country from the Red Ball parking garage in most cases to the Portofino Inn in Redondo Beach, California.
That's right.
And that is what the 1981 Hal Needham movie was based on. There's a dead deer. And it is now generally considered a New York to LA drive, but it sort of has taken more of a cultural definition in American automotive history, whereas even something like this, a cross-country drive that we're doing, leaving from the Santa Monica Pier on Thursday morning, now traveling through South Carolina, and making 13 stops along the way to support agencies and departments that have lost officers in the last year. And we're doing this to raise awareness to the deaths of these officers and the average of 161 officers that are killed in the line of duty every year, as well as the officers that die in single vehicle accidents due to distractions.
Because there are no accidents.
There are no accidents, as Alex is fond of saying. So, tonight we are headed to our last 3 stops that are in Windsor, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, and the National Memorial for Fallen Officers in Washington, D.C. And hopefully, Reagan Airport by a safe margin before my 8:15 flight. But we are chugging along right now in this 2017 Chevrolet Suburban. There are 3 cars and 13 drivers, at least 13 people. Gerry's not driving, but in our car you've got Alex Roy, record holder of the Cannonball Run from 2006 until our drive in 2013, myself, Ed Bollian. And we have 3 fine officers from the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. We've got John Bannis, JB, back there.
Yeah, that's right.
Hello, viewers. Not dead still. We've got Jason Hendricks, Sergeant Jason Hendricks, right behind me.
How you doing?
Who I believe is holding the feed that you can see live on the Cannonball Memorial Run Facebook page. Be sure to like that page and like this video. Share both with your friends. It helps other people learn about this cause, which is what we are here to do.
I got a quick question.
Ed, can we donate to this cause somewhere? Absolutely. Yes,
absolutely.
you can. Go to cannonballmemorialrun.org/donate. There is a link below the most recent live video that we did on YouTube that should be available. Not the one where Alex Roy gave his phone number out. That one's going to be edited. But Alex has only gotten 3 spam phone calls, so you guys were not quick on the notepad.
What a bunch of cowards you are. You're going to prank call me. You better bring your A game.
But so we are headed towards Windsor, and we are, as someone just commented, giving the Attorney General a box of patches representing each of the officers that's been killed since this event began in December of last year. That was the first drive. This is the second drive across the country. It was 3 people in 1 car last year. Now we've got 13 people in 3 cars. And I apologize, I just lost a couple of the comments. They don't come back. So I appreciate that you're finding this to be interesting. And we're actually quite awake with no supplementation. Alex has had about 400 grams of dietary fiber for courtesy of Quest nutrition bars. And the noxious smell of this fine Chevrolet Suburban is a testament to that.
We need a gas station.
We need to stop at a gas station. We're in Bishopville, South Carolina, exit 132 on I-95 going north.
At 64 miles an hour.
At a fine 64 miles an hour, meaning that car must be doing about 4 miles per hour. Suburban, yes, we're driving a Suburban. We should drive a party bus, but this is the party bus. Not because of Alex, not because of myself, but because of Gerry in the back. We'll introduce you to Gerry at the gas stop.
So we got a question.
Yep. Question from the Facebook audience.
Danny Rice. Has Alex and Ed's perception and view of law enforcement changed at all since this kind of run?
Has our view of law enforcement changed during the course of this Cannonball Run? And the answer is, of course, absolutely. You know, it was a strange call, I think, for the cops to ask us to come along in their Cannonball to add some legitimacy of the craft, but also to speak to the idea of safety and achievement and goal setting and management of distractions and data interpretation on a Cannonball to increase driver safety. But we have found unendingly that cops are probably as much a car guys as we are.
Yes.
And that their interest in the great American road trip is probably even more than ours. And
because they certainly want to be on the road more than we do.
So their goal for this drive was about 77 hours. We're not sure all their math was exactly right, but it's looking like we're going to be there more like 82 hours on the road without stopping for any place to sleep. My pillow has been the corner of an armrest behind us. Alex brought one of those neck things, not a scarf. He brought 5 scarves, but those haven't helped him sleep.
They have helped, though.
They have absolutely helped. He's got his rose-colored glasses on, if you haven't noticed. And we are exiting on exit 135. If any of our viewers are out and about in South Carolina, south of Florence, near Turbeville, Lake City, going towards Myrtle Beach. We've got 2 options to the right, a BP and a Citgo. That Citgo looks very open. The BP, maybe not. Our third car, the Sienna minivan, which we were told had a top speed of 120 miles an hour, 8 miles an hour higher than our OnStar verified top speed Governor Limited
¾ of a mile.
in this
Turn
2017
left on US
Chevrolet
378.
Suburban, sponsored by what dealership?
Mark Christopher Chevrolet.
Mark Christopher Chevrolet. Rented from Enterprise, Mark Christopher Chevrolet does not sell beat-down rented Suburbans driven by outlaws and cops across the country. They sell fine ones.
Pull forward, pull forward.
Pull forward, forwarder, more forward.
Forward
And go.
good.
But I like that it tells you if you resume the cruise control right now, you'll be going 99 miles per hour as fast as this can get there. Hello, Chris Turner from New Zealand. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for supporting the Cannonball Memorial Run. We're going to get you guys out of this fine mount. I don't even...
In 600 feet, turn right to I-95.
Hello from
north of
Antarctica,
Florence.
Brett. I don't believe you. I'm glad you could listen. Oh, we've got someone from India on board. What is this? I think I've got this thing on the wrong way. Oh, there's a lens cap on this side. Is that working? Oh, we've got a wide angle situation. Care of Mr. Roy. Oh, Bush Ice is available for $129. Your town has 400 people. Oh, goodness gracious. How did that happen? Hello, James.
What's up, Ed?
What's up? Well, I don't know why this is so foggy. Alex gave me this thing.
You don't want to know why.
Oh! We just switched. Alright, let me try that. Germany here as well. We've got Germany, Tasmania, India.
Guten Abend, was ist los?
As well as some flat earth theorists. Alright. I don't know how to get this thing on. That's what we've been told here.
Flat Earth theory.
Goodness gracious. This is Gerry. Good morning.
Yes, if it can be called that.
Hello from Sweden, hello from Iran, and hello from Mars. I don't believe that one. Oh yeah, we got Tasmania, India, New Zealand. When you broadcast live on the internet at 3 in the morning Eastern time, you don't get my mother.
Right, you get a whole different group of people.
Overnight in Sioux Falls, South Dakota,
And he said Germany?
England,
When
Germany.
you should be asleep and you go on YouTube, you bump into people that are asleep when you're awake.
Canada, North Carolina, Ireland, New York.
Ireland. My favorite
Excellent.
place.
Sweden, Raleigh, North Carolina. We're headed your way. Texas is where it's at.
What's up, G? We still have some of your turkey sticks left.
Yes, we do.
This is Alex Roy adjusting his hair. And going live on YouTube.
I'm waiting until we start moving.
Louisiana, Delaware. Man, this is fantastic.
Hey, G, your
Thank you all for your
peppered
support.
turkey jerky is amazing.
Fine words about, well, who is our turkey jerky sponsor?
Shelton's Poultry.
Shelton's Poultry.
Excellent. Oh, we got somebody from the Sudan.
Wow.
Welcome.
Thank you all for supporting the Cannonball Memorial Run. We are pleased to have you. Hello, Alex.
Hey guys.
What are you?
Somebody tell me what happened with the cops. when you were pulled over? What happened?
It's need to know, right to know.
Well, we appreciate that. Whatever you said to them, that they weren't even interested in hearing our side of the story.
Well, a lot of that has to do with how you behave when you're stopped by the police.
Does pulling over sooner than we did help? We feel like we didn't know when he started chasing us. Was he on us for a while? The last time I think we went for a little
He passed the
while.
other direction. We saw him before he ever was going to light us up.
Oh,
But
we didn't.
He saw us and he turned into the median.
Oh yeah.
and
We tried to get a hold of you to exercise the first rule of Cannonball, but we realized when he was turning, it was a Dodge Charger.
it was a Dodge Charger. We weren't going to outrun him.
We weren't.
First rule of Cannonball
Our
is
Suburbans.
That's right. The first rule of Cannonball is that if you believe you
don't
might
talk
be
about
being
Cannonball.
pursued, well, there's that. But if you think you might be being pursued, you need to
Hammer down.
hammer down. And when you've just been pulled over and released, hammer down.
Yeah, so when we saw the unit, when it pulled up behind you and it was in front of us, we turned off our headlights because you don't want to backlight him and silhouette him. And then as he walked up to our car, we already had the windows down, our hands were out the window. And from that, he knew that we were probably law enforcement. And as he walked up and we said, "Hello, officer," he said, "Where do you all work?" And we told him where we worked, and he basically told us, "Have a nice day, get on the road." We explained.
Conversation.
Yeah,
told
we
him what were
explained the
Excellent.
Cannonball run to him.
doing.
Asked him if he did social media. He told us that he was 26 years old, so of course he has Facebook and knows all about social media. We gave him the site for the Facebook account. He said he would check us out. Told us to be safe, and we told Alex to tell you what the first rule of cannonballing was, and Alex hung up on me.
I thought that meant take off.
It did.
It did.
Yeah, it did, but obviously, again, the navigator didn't transmit to the driver that he was supposed to hammer down.
I was rather confused by the situation. I've had many a strange police encounter, more than I expected on this trip, but that was a new one.
There was some direction as to, we'll wait a little bit, maybe we should let him get off the freeway and then shoot past. I think Ed's question was, do I go now?
Yeah. Do you mean wait till he gets out of the way and then go as fast as I possibly can?
Well, and that's when we said, well, now he's in front of you, so just stand by. But then he flashed his lights in greeting or in departure
Yes.
and got off the freeway.
Jerry, is your brother going to catch us here?
I don't think he's going to catch us for a while. I kept asking him for a mile marker.
And he was too embarrassed to
And
say.
he was too embarrassed to give up the numbers, so
they're in
he
the
just
den.
said, "I don't think we're gonna make it. I don't think we're gonna make the next stop."
Oh my goodness.
So I would, I think the last I heard when we said we had just hit mile marker 1 coming into North Carolina, he said something about mile marker 100
Wait for these things to
in
fill up.
South Carolina.
Are we in North Carolina now?
Truck monkey.
No.
JB.
Are we not in North Carolina?
No, we haven't gotten to Florence yet.
South.
Yeah, we're still
Oh, so then in Georgia, they were
They're still in South. What? That's impossible.
I don't even know.
That's all right. Here, hold this one too.
105. So
I'm gonna throw some trash
they're
away.
not that far.
We have a
behind.
lot of
That
it.
sounds like they were only 5 yards behind. I don't think they have the.
We were running the live app, and we were trying to
2
get some
hours.
people. We were trying to get some people that were watching to tell us where we were in relation to South Carolina state line.
Pigs don't go off-roading too often. Except for that one.
Yeah,
We off-road all the time.
it's not entirely true.
Danny Rice says, I'm waiting for a 211 to go. That would be some Cannonball history. Yes, that would. Someone says the Chargers are only 3.6s.
They still go faster than a
Oh,
Suburban.
there it is. Almost got one. Almost got one.
All right, thank you.
Charger will do about 145 pretty easily in our.
Oh, in your experience?
You could see that the comments in Ed's thread
Slightly
are a little
different than
different
these.
than the comments in our thread. Someone commented the pigs don't go off-roading too often.
What do you mean? Pigs play in the mud.
Right.
I
Pigs
kindly
follow
pointed
all
at
the time.
Kevin and I said, except
Yeah,
this
you want to
pig."
see it? Come to the back of the fucking black Suburban. You want to see Bob's pigs wallowing around? Come right on back here.
This is Gerry World.
Get back in.
Oh, one of my good friends has a tortoise named Gerry.
What's the name of your snake?
Sonny the Lamboa. Oh, there's my palm.
Fire that bitch up.
All right.
SG says we need to stop bumping our gums and get on the road.
Yeah, we do, but
I don't even want to.
You know what, G?
These cops
it's
you're with
amazing
are
that
great.
It's
You're
amazing
exactly
that
right, they
either
are.
Alex or Ed made it across the country at all.
I'm having trouble aligning this thing.
Thinking about that.
Yes, that's good. All right, we've got a wider angle now and a little light from the Citgo station in wherever South Carolina we're at.
Alex Roy here with Cannonball record holder Ed Bolian.
Hey,
in
guys.
the back, we've got Jason Hendrick, Sergeant
Hey, how you doing?
in the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. John Bannis is behind me.
Hey,
Gerry
Robert Deacon joined.
is in the back. And we are about to get back on the road. Checkpoint, Windsor, North Carolina. If you have any questions, you can ask them of me here. Ed is also live streaming on VinWiki YouTube page, which is hilarious. And then you've got the Cannonball Memorial Run event that we're on is live streaming on their Facebook page. And we're about to...
Plenty of entertainment options
yeah,
late this evening.
Yeah, it's crime time here on the road. All right. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, probably.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wheels up.
Okay.
What is? Altoid.
No thanks.
All right.
I didn't sound like I said Jed.
Things are getting a little gamey over here.
A little bit.
Wait, it says make a right?
Yeah, right. North towards Florence. We're up and back on 95 in South Carolina. Headed towards Florence on our way to Windsor, North Carolina.
Turn right to I-95 North Florence.
Florence, I
Right
knew
here?
her.
A request to tell the Kimmy story. I'll have to defer that one to the channel. I don't know that I want to impose that on our distinguished guests tonight.
Before dawn, I will tell the story of Black Boyle. You
Oh,
will all
goodness.
bow down in fear.
Oh, no.
You'll never forget it. Okay.
All right, we are back at it. We're continuing to get a reminder to change
Straight for
the
2
oil
hours and
soon.
39 minutes to exit 138, US 64, Rocky Mount, Nashville.
269 miles and an estimated 3 hours and 40 minutes of driving to get us to our final stop for this leg. We'll be continuing on after that to Richmond, Virginia, and then to Washington, D.C. We're 10 miles from SC 341.
Ed, would you be kind enough to pop open this mocha protein
Snow
double
is
espresso
still
shake?
in the bathroom.
What?
Well, is the vehicle behind us?
Alex.
I thought you said we're ready to go.
I thought you. I thought we have 5 of us in our car. Well, apparently they're still sitting there. Snow's in the
I'll
shit.
slow down.
All right, careful. We leave no man or entire vehicle full of men behind here. You gonna use this straw?
Oh, there was some back straps right there.
Oh yeah? You want me to put this straw in your mocha?
Yeah, thanks. Okay, we'll sit here at 65.
All right, take the loop around Richmond. I'm not exactly sure what the address is, but you can find our full itinerary on the drive in an article written recently by Alex. How did I not have to use the bathroom? We had just stopped a few minutes prior. Feel feel free to ask any other questions, viewers.
Well, we have a
Alex.
message from Jason Bordeaux, Team Polizei, my German police rally team's IT guy, who says that our GPS tracker is now offline, that our maximum speed was incredibly verified by USA Fleet Tracking at 111 miles an hour. I wasn't driving. I'm pretty sure the guys in the back were asleep. I can't imagine who was responsible.
That seems crazy.
I think
there's an error.
the tracker is obviously defective.
Can we call OnStar?
We should call OnStar.
Do we need to call OnStar?
Yeah, everybody can track us via OnStar.
Oh, how long will we be streaming for? That is an impossible answer to come up with. Probably longer than you should for whatever optimization is possible on YouTube.
Whoever buys this vehicle when it's finished from Enterprise is making a grave mistake. How would they know? By using VinWiki.
That's it.
World's greatest app.
So the history of this car is being documented on our VinWiki app. You can download it for free in the Apple App Store or on the Google Play Store, and you can post to your car or any car you want. Things like, we rented this car from Enterprise and have been driving it as fast as it's capable of moving across this fair country as much as possible.
How would you describe what Gerry did to the back seat?
Jerry wants to make sure that our contribution is not just on VinWiki, that our DNA persists in this car, contributed from multiple orifices throughout our time in it.
How much fiber, how many grams of fiber in a Quest bar?
Travel cross country on a trip. How much what? My car. What was the question? Declined.
How many grams of fiber?
Did your card just get declined?
Can you reactivate my cards, please?
Yeah.
In the back, you're hearing Sergeant John Bannis talking to his credit card company about his credit cards being declined. Later this week in VinWiki Car Stories, I've already recorded one that is what happened to my credit cards on our Cannonball.
Oh, we have a message from a law enforcement friend of mine in England, and his message is, "Good morning, stay safe." That would be Constable White from the Sussex Police in the UK. Hi Whitey, how are you?
All right, we are chugging along. Still a poor connection. Apologies for that.
I just heard a credit card number read out loud.
We're talking over that.
Yep. Shiloh, is this the Shiloh from Civil War Battle?
Would I recommend financing a supercar? Yes, as long as that supercar is old enough to not be depreciating significantly.
My credit card needs to be activated.
Please tell the officers that we appreciate their service and that they are doing this trip. Thank you, officers. Adopt me. You wouldn't like that. You'd have to sleep downstairs with the snake.
My debit card needs to get activated.
Speaking of which, there was that great police officer in Santa Monica, Cannonball.
Cannonball. We met an officer named Cannonball.
You have seen, Ed, please tell me, you have seen the movie Escape from New York.
Yes.
Okay.
You know that there's that great line where he says, "We need you to rescue the president," and he says, "The president of what?"
I had a situation happen as I'm traveling cross country.
The situation has happened as I'm traveling cross country.
Oh, we have had a live documentation of the of what happens when you drive your Cannonball across the country, or drive a Cannonball with your credit cards. Somebody asked about the snake. I have an albino red-tailed boa constrictor named Sunny the Lamboa. She's about 7 feet long, and she lives in my basement.
Not a metaphor.
No, that's not a albino boa constrictor euphemism of any sort. Lamboa, that's right. What other YouTube channels do we recommend? At this very moment, I recommend that you go to the Alex Roy Polizei 144 YouTube channel and get the opposite camera angle of this miserably dark broadcast in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, on the Cannonball Memorial Run. Yeah, if we turn these off, we can actually see out the car. but we understand that you like to see us a little bit.
Jason Bordeaux, Polizei IT guy, is asking, what is more painful, this over 4 days or the Morgan over 41 hours cross country?
No question.
The Morgan is much worse. Yeah, much worse.
Alex and I talked about me coming on the Morgan run, but it would not have been possible for me to fit in it with the inability to move the seat.
I think actually you could fit in it now.
You think so?
Yeah, it would be really terrible.
Well, I knew it was going to be terrible. I think my response was, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. And yes, of course, tell me where to be.
Well, you know, you'll be in New York next month for the C2C Cannonball race, right?
Sometime in the next year.
Which will be perfect opportunity for you to take the Morgan out.
I'd like to. Has the Morgan escaped? Has the snake ever escaped? No, she won't. She doesn't escape. She's very well secured, particularly if my wife is asking. Oh, seat heaters.
In my BMW M5, I have a great feature that both seat heater controls are linked to a single secret switch. So when my best friend Paul Weissman's in the car, I flick the switch, so when he tries to heat up my seat, he heats himself.
That's a lovely feature.
It's an old trick.
We like Paul Weissman.
Yep.
Who just made news for flying things to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he flew supplies to Puerto Rico because we have a mutual friend who was, I guess, someone in the family works for air traffic control at Puerto Rico, so he flew down and brought supplies and generators and picked up the families of air traffic control and brought them back to Florida mainland.
Good work, Paul. Thank you for that service. All right. We are still cruising along at 65 miles an hour, waiting on the other Suburban to join us. Painstaking is the word. But there it goes. The Nevada registered pearlescent white 2017 Chevrolet Suburban, faster accelerating than a black car because of the optional paint. But we are now cruising right behind them, and will be interesting to see what kind of pace. That car does not have any civilians on board, as ours does. It is all enforcers of the law. And right now, if they were to call OnStar and ask them how fast they were going, the answer would be 65 miles an hour. Right? Alright, we are coming along. So we are on the Cannonball Memorial Run, a cross-country drive with 13 stops to honor precincts that have lost officers in the last 12 months. And we are raising money for this fund to provide immediate relief to the families of these fallen officers. To support the cause, you can go to the website, cannonballmemorialrun.org, and you can type /donate after that to donate via PayPal to this amazing cause. There's been some requests for merchandise, and those announcements will probably be made a few weeks after the run on the Cannonball Memorial Run Facebook page. So please go there, like their page, share their live feeds, help us spread the word, because this is an amazing cause that we all need to get behind. Alex will agree, it has been an unbelievably emotional trip for us. Our most recent stop was in Americus, Georgia, to honor the two best friend police officers that were killed in the line of duty, murdered, in fact. And it
actually, our most recent stop was actually Orlando.
That's true. We slept a little bit since then, but probably not enough. But Alex has 4 gallons of mocha prepackaged beverage, and I am going to make sure that he gets where he needs to go. But thank you all for watching this and supporting what we're doing. There's been some requests to donate through YouTube. We'll look through donation platforms and other ways, but right now PayPal is your best bet. Or if you go through the website, you can find instructions on how to mail a check if you still have checks. But we are running behind the Suburban.
But ahead of schedule.
But ahead of schedule, finally. Goodness gracious, that is hot.
It's not as hot as you think.
Ed, make that comment again. It fizzled away. Could you set something up on Facebook for donations? Yes, we are aware there are other donation platforms, but I appreciate that you guys agree we're driving for a good cause. Yes, also in the Messenger app there's donation options, but right now, PayPal. please use PayPal. Please also like and share this. We'd love to get it trending on Facebook or on YouTube so that we can tell more people about this. Ed, ask the driver about mechanical issues on his M5. Alex has many mechanical issues on his M5.
Although it's been working perfectly the last couple of years. I swapped out the Vanos, and my primary issue now is electrical power. I have a weird gremlin that causes the car electrical system to shut down at random once a month. And I'm having some trouble tracking it down. It's a very complex wiring in that car because I've retrofitted so much gear over so many years. I've owned it for 15 years. And you can imagine you have 3, 4, 5 generations of installations.
A lot of cuts in the wiring harness.
Yeah, a lot of cuts. But I have attempted to keep it real by maintaining all the systems period correct 2007.
As you should, and mine will stay in 2013 configuration. His M5 is a 2000 E39 M5 in Avis blue.
Yeah, it's not a very good blue. Le Mans blue is better, but Avis was the only one I could find used and cheaply. In the 2000s, you had different gaskets in the motor, required 10W60. And that year, there were some problems. It was about $10,000 less than a 2001 or 2002 when I bought it in 2002, 3? I'm trying, I can't remember.
You had it for Gumball 02, so...
I did 03 Gumball, not 02, so I bought it in 2002.
Okay. How fast are we going? Right now, it has 3 digits in it.
Yeah, a 0,
but it's
6,
but it's the speed limit.
5.
So we have reached a more natural cruising speed for this drive, and we're chugging along. We haven't hit any deer. We almost hit a horse on an Indian reservation earlier, but we haven't. So 65.1 miles an hour we're going. That's a good estimate as well. Earlier today we called OnStar to see if they could tell us how to turn off the lane departure warning in this car because we hate it. We figured out as we were on the phone with them and on hold for a while listening to the Cisco music that there's a button for that, and then we pressed it and it did what we wanted it to.
What's up ahead?
We've got some flashing lights ahead. I don't know what it is. Drift, please, Alex. That's been requested. That's just some hazards. Alright. So we are coming up on a car on the side of the road, not a police officer.
Watch out, vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
We'll do our best to read all the comments, but they kind of show up for about 2.5 seconds or so and then they go away. So if we miss your comment, don't be afraid to retype it. Don't make fun of people that retype their comments. We're interested in answering as much as we can. But most of all, we're here to support the Cannonball Memorial Run.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Chevy SS? That's been introduced to me lately as a good idea for a Cannonball car because it's difficult to identify. Not many people know. You can even put Holden badges on it. So that's a good idea. I think it'd be an excellent choice. Are we on an officially timed run? No, there are no officially timed Cannonball runs anymore. The last one would have been the 1983 U.S. Express, won by David Deeb and Doug Turner in a Ferrari 308 GTS. Thoughts on it?
Was it GTS?
Yeah, it is a Targa.
Edward, how do you feel about the Ferrari Mondial?
It's not one of my favorites, I'll confess.
But it's kind of cool, isn't it?
It's getting cooler. I really wish someone would do what Singer does for 911s to vintage Ferraris.
But they're already cool.
But they don't run reliably and they're not inexpensive to maintain.
What was the Ferrari before the Mondial? Weird, boxy, two-door.
The D-Note, the not 246 D-Note, the 308 D-Note. Yeah. They frequently had two-tone paint jobs.
It's kind of growing on me.
Yeah. But I think it'd be awesome to have, something like a Mondial or a 308 with a modern power plant. And,
So you would singerize a 308?
I think that would be awesome.
How many 308s were made? It looks like.
I would guess 10,000.
And how many Porsche 911s between 1990 and 1992 that could be singerized?
All of them.
I would guess 50,000. Would be my guess.
Except for Alaska and Hawaii.
I would also really like a singerized Countach.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be incredible.
I'm getting a comment about my audio stuttering like crazy.
Alaska.
Well, Alex is on T-Mobile, and that is been an inferior network thus far. I am on AT&T, which has been spotty, but dealing with it.
Now I'm going to kill this.
All right, so we're going to turn it off on 144 Police Eye channel, and come on back to VinWiki. All right, so yeah, we're staying on the AT&T network here. Thank you. You can also watch us live on the Cannonball Memorial Run Facebook. What I meant to ask is, how would someone contest your time? Excuse me. Well, someone in the driver's seat of this automobile tends to do that. But we provided all of our evidence and our third-party GPS logs, photos, and things like that to the journalistic outlets that publish stories, and they reviewed it and found it to be acceptable. Since then, we've made it all publicly available, so you can go to Jalopnik and see an article that has a link to our GPS data, which is very incriminating, which is why we waited a year to release it. We had an Ed's Not in Jail party and did that.
That party offended me.
Thank you. You didn't come, which offended me, despite being invited. Any word on the van, Jerry? Jerry's asleep. I'm sorry that you won't get to see Gerry right now. Are we making merchandise? I think they probably will. Not really up to me and Alex, but we'll be sure to buy some. I'd love to have some more swag from the Cannonball Memorial Run. If you would like to buy a t-shirt or a patch from the Cannonball Memorial Run, please comment on the videos or send a message via Facebook after liking the page. Alex, what's the fastest you've gone in a car?
I think it's about 195 miles an hour.
About the same. I don't think I've ever actually hit 200.
It's hard to tell because the car's speedometers are never really accurate.
That's right. How are we presenting the box to Attorney General Jeff Sessions on Monday morning?
Good question. Humbly.
Humbly. It's a beautiful box. I hope you've seen it on the Facebook Live feeds. If not, be sure to tune in. Goodness gracious. Alex has made an atmospheric contribution to the air quality of this automobile, and I did not approve of it. I appreciate that, but I would have rather you
I'm about to interrupt it again.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my God.
It's a little Dr. Seuss level in here.
Yes. Sorry about the audio quality, but...
trust me, that's the least of our problems.
Yes. So if you're just joining us, we're on the Cannonball Memorial Run. We left Santa Monica on 8:30 on Thursday morning, and we'll arrive mid-afternoon today. Is it Sunday?
Yeah.
It's Sunday, mid-afternoon today, at the Washington, D.C. Memorial to Fallen Officers. This will be the first time in a while I'll miss our first Sunday of the month. Caffeine and Octane Car Show in Atlanta. If you're in Atlanta, it's about time to wake up and listen to some VinWiki live stream in your exotic car on the way to Caffeine and Octane.
Are you sure it's not pronounced VinWiki?
Wiki? You get an extra accent on the second eye, a third eye? Maybe. We can adopt that. This is Alex Roy in our car, driving at the moment in a very reasonable way. We were pulled over several times. I am winning. I have 1 traffic light citation, or no, speed trap photo citation, and 2 pullovers, none of which have resulted in tickets. Alex was pulled over once. Cop behind us got pulled over once with me. We were going 100. He was going 98 miles per hour. Allegedly. We haven't seen the proof. But this is possible. We've had some lovely conversations with OnStar. Dominique, I think, was our favorite.
She was cool.
She was cool. Over the last, scroll through there and see how many miles we've driven so far, Alex. Just hit those arrows. We've driven 3,635.8 miles at an average of 17.8 miles per gallon. But if you keep this thing pinned at its limiter, you'll get about 12 miles per gallon. Obviously not on public roads. It's been asking for an overdue oil change since we departed. Do either of us have tattoos of our Cannonball record times? No, we do not.
No, but it's a big fat M tattoo. Jerry's got in the back, and everybody wants to see it.
Gerry has an unfortunately placed Nebraska tattoo due to a bet
that he lost.
Our total mileage will be about 4,200. And if you buy one of the Cannonball Memorial Run Challenge coins, which I'll now show you, it says the wrong mileage. So get them while they're hot. The misprints are always more valuable. It's right here. There's no way I could possibly make it in focus, so I'm not gonna try. That's right. This is yep. We have now got a very bad connection according to YouTube. We're at the International Harvester Truck Dealer in South Carolina. Coming up on, should he mod a 335 or buy a high mileage M3?
Neither.
Should I jump off a bridge or into traffic?
Unicycle jousting or endurance jaywalking competition. You decide.
A modded 335 you'll find is a perilous endeavor, and a high mileage M3, I would assume you're talking about an E90, 92, 93, tends to invite you to invest in some rod bearings. So
how about just a decent, nice
this is a good
stock 3 Series?
That's a great idea.
And some racing school. How about
all
that?
Right. I get this question a lot, Alex. What, as a first or early in your car buying life car, would you recommend that's good looking and fast for $20,000?
I don't know. What would you suggest?
When we had my son, I bought a BMW E60 M5 for 22 grand.
Are you out of your mind?
And the only reason I bought this M5 is that I knew that E60 M5s are notorious for rod bearing failure. And the only way you could possibly do it is to buy one that has already had the motor replaced with the updated rod bearings. And so I bought a 68,000 mile 2006 M5 with $40,000 in warranty receipts from the prior 18 months for 22 grand. And it was a wonderful car. My son hated riding in it. And so I barely drove it, and I ended up selling it to my brother.
Why did your son hate riding in it?
I don't know. I don't know why. He just, for some reason, never loved it. So it is a really cool car. Great engine, very comfortable, and great tech, even at 11 years old.
Not the manual.
No, it's not a stick. I sold a few of the stick E60s, and honestly, I didn't really like it. I'm a huge lover of manual transmissions, but everything about that car was built around the idea of SMG shifting, and so the stick is not all that good. The car loses revs crazy fast because the internals and the flywheel are so light, and so if you're not driving it as fast as you possibly can, it's not that great. Sorry, Brett, I didn't see that last question about the E60.
So Jeffrey Alford, what do you think of the new 2008
Hyundai is doing big things. I haven't ever driven one, but I know it's a great bang for the buck. E60 M5 or SL55 AMG. I'm a huge proponent of all the 55 cars. The early SLs can have very expensive top failures. Going live! The connection is bad, we know.
Live, fighting crime with Street Hog.
All right.
Multi-mode combat motorcycle, capable of speeds up to 300 miles an hour. Street Hog.
All right, guys. I think we're back. Sorry about that. The connection is abysmal.
His name is Jesse Mock.
I'll tell you what.
You gonna show him Street Hog?
No, I'm not gonna show him Street Hog.
Oh, go!
Is that better?
For me, it is.
All right. We'll have a. We'll use this light instead because it's a little bit better. It's a little Blair Witch right now. Audio is failed.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, audience. I think we might shut this thing down. There's a car on the shoulder. If it's a cop, they're going to want to talk to us. It's not a cop.
I hope so.
Audio is good on the refresh. Word of advice, don't crash. Thank you for that wisdom. Watching from Pakistan. Welcome from Pakistan.
Good times. Look who that is. I know who it is.
You know who it is?
That's right.
Have a safe trip. Any other questions we can answer before we sign off here? We're good. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more, tune into the Facebook live stream at Cannonball Memorial Run's Facebook page. Thank you so much. Good morning.